We went to Europe with my in-laws and came back to West Texas. I couldn't find the beer that I liked, being a typical West Texan. I started making my own.
Sarah, spelled without an H, was getting bored on a PV amp in 1984.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Sounds good. I love malty beer.
Did you taste the Oktoberfest?
That's what I got right here in Winland. So.
A couple of my roommates from college started homebrewing after we graduated. I mean, we had been out of college for 3 or 4 years at this point. And they started doing it and talked, we love drinking beer and we always drank craft beer and talked about it for a long time. They decided to start brewing and they tried to get me involved in it and I just, for some reason, was never interested. My brother-in-law did it for a while, still does. I guess when I moved to Lubbock, I met a couple of people in the theater department that did home brewing and I went and hung out with them a few times while they were doing it and I thought, well, this is pretty easy and you get to just make whatever kind of beer you want. So I just kind of fell into it. My wife bought me a homebrew kit, I guess 3 years ago for my birthday, something like that. Brewed a couple of batches with that and then when Matt moved here, we started brewing together all the time and I moved up to doing all grain brews instead of the extracts and I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. It's a fun hobby.
Oh my God, that's awesome. It smells buttery.
When I was at Rice University, they have a bar on campus that is faculty and staff and grad student bartended. And it's a volunteer bar. So you have a 1-hour shift once a week, and they usually pay you with allowing you to have Lone Star or Ziegenbach for free. One of the other bartenders sponsored a brew competition, and I had never thought of brewing beer. And one of my students at the time brewed beer, and he was like, oh, we can do this together. I can teach you how to do it. I was like, oh, that'll be a lot of fun. So I bought the absolute base level equipment to brew this beer. And I made an all extract beer. It was in a kit. It was pretty basic. It turned out okay. It was fine. I didn't really have any issues with it. And I turned it into the competition. Of course, I didn't do very well relative to everybody else, but I wasn't the worst.
Zach called his dad about layaway plans, and Sarah told a friendly sales.
I was going to school here at Tech and I had changed majors about 5 or 6 times. Just kind of jumping around, not really figuring out what I wanted to do. And my parents asked me if I wanted to go to Germany to learn how to brew beer on a production level. And it's kind of hard to say no to that.
Well, beer has always been a social lubricant. Most of the people that brew are also foodies. They like to cook, so the two go together. It's more fun to brew with somebody watching you because they're going to get into it, be excited about it, and learn that they can do their own thing.
I got into homebrewing through my dad, really. He's been homebrewing for about 20 years now. Whenever I got old enough to drink, it's just kind of natural to pick it up and start doing it myself.
Yeah, the first one I did on my kit was I want to say it was a Shinerbach clone, but I can't really remember. It was okay, it wasn't great. It was the first attempt at anything. I mean, the first thing I ever cooked was not that great. It was, follow a recipe and do it like it says on the recipe and hopefully it'll turn out the way you want it to, but it was okay. I think I had to force myself to drink the last of it.
I wanted to make an oatmeal pale ale, and so I ended up making this beer, and it was in color and in head and in mouthfeel and in pretty much every quality clarity. It was the most gorgeous beer I've ever made. It was perfect. And when you tasted it, it was so bad. It was just the worst thing. It was excessively bitter and it didn't help at all. The sugar content was really high and I couldn't even drink it. I had to dump a lot of it out.
That's way good.
It is so good.
That's way good. I don't want to blow my own horn or anything.
It's
Dude,
like-
that's good beer.
It's like a blend of the two things. I mean, it is a really nice mouthfeel, has a good mouthfeel, it's got good sugar, it's malty, it smells good. I love the way that the head on it lingers longer, like the bubble size is really nice and small and tight. And then
I think I should make it again and just age it this time. Maybe not put as much priming sugar.
this is better.
Heel cold, jumping in the snow, let the good time go, let the good time flow. Cowgirl king at the rodeo, let the good time go, let the good time flow.
You never really know what's gonna happen. As much as we like to try and nail it all down with exactly how much grain there is and exactly how much water and what exact temperatures we want to hit, it never really lands the way it's supposed to. So you think it's going to turn out like one thing and it winds up turning out like something completely different. Sometimes it turns out pretty much what you want it to be.
I would say relative to Jared, I experiment more. I don't mind adding a few tweaks here and there. When I get a recipe online, I look at it and go, okay, I know that this tastes like this and this tastes like this and smells, and this amount will cause it to have this kind of a flavor. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of this to get some chocolate in it. I'm gonna add a little bit more Carafe number 3, or Carafe number 3, I can't pronounce it, is probably my favorite malt because it doesn't add a lot of flavor or too much roastiness, but it takes your beer from being very light to extremely dark. It'll basically make your beer look black.
My favorite part is probably just the actual process in and of itself. It's really fun to kind of see all the different pieces come together to create the final product, the final beer, in that all the grains smell different, all the hops smell different, and it all just kind of comes together and creates this nice beer in the end.
It's all good. I enjoy the smells. Smells like baking bread. And when you put the hops in it, there's a nice green floral smell in the air, and it's pleasant.
It's definitely conducive to just hanging out because, I mean, you're making beer and everybody loves to hang out and drink beer, and it goes well with, you know, sporting events or just what have you in general. It's very much a part of the kind of do-it-yourself culture. A lot of our customers, you know, they'll make their own soap, or they'll make their own beard oil, or they're all very, you know, food driven in that they like to cook and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of additional hobbies and things that go along with it that people can get together and talk about and learn from each other.
Well, my friend Peter that got me into this here at Tech, he graduated and left, and I think I did maybe one beer between when he graduated and when Matt got here. When Matt got here, we realized that we shared the same kind of hobbies as far as home brewing goes, so we just kind of started hanging out and doing brewing stuff. It's always fun to hang out with people for 3 or 4 hours and sit around and watch fire do stuff and, you know, pour water over things. It's not really that exciting, but we do get to drink beer while we're doing it.